Hello and welcome to the podcast. I am Michelle Moses, your host. I'm a certified financial planner, a realtor, and a former e-commerce site owner. And today we are going to be talking about the lifestyle of a fitness and food advocate, Andrea Barkley, who is the person that got me into podcasting. Woo-hoo! So thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, it's totally my pleasure. So fun.
Yeah, I love talking with you, and we're friends outside of podcasting and work and everything, and I just absolutely adore you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Andrea is on the show, and Andrea is an internationally published private fitness trainer, nutrition consultant, and author of Moan Out Loud and Louder protein shakes. She's appeared on national and local television, contributing to leading health and fitness magazines, was chosen as an ambassador for Nordstrom's athletic wear line, and has trained many hundreds of people. Andrea has over 17,000 followers on Instagram and is the host of the Andrea Barkley Show. So welcome.
Thank you. You know, I should read that intro to myself every day just to give myself a little boost.
Oh my gosh.
little like ray of sunshine. So I'll tell your listeners, my 5-year-old daughter just said to me, "Mom, you're just a trainer." And I was like, what?
She's like, that's all I see. But we read this, and I mean, you are impressive.
Thank you.
You guys should seriously listen to this and then go on Instagram and follow her. She does like workout videos all the time. She's making like shakes and things. And I have to say, like, I really started working out like 3 years ago, consistently every day. And you are a reason for that, for following your videos and all of that. Yeah, you have really made a difference in my life. And you're just so positive and outgoing. And I do have to say, you are always willing to try things. Like every time we talk, you are always like pushing the envelope of, I'm going to try this. What's going to happen? I'm just going to try this. Like, you are so brave.
Thanks.
And so thank you for having me on your podcast, because then I thought about it for a week afterwards and I was like, wow, that was really fun.
It is so fun.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have my own podcast.
Good.
It's a great idea. And so you have really pushed me to get out of my comfort zone in my business. So,
I'm so glad. Well, I feel like we're like business BFFs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not often that you meet someone who as a woman, and this is an odd thing to say maybe, but I think you and I both have feminine energy and also a fair dose of masculine energy.
Yeah, we're very strong personalities.
And, and we are entrepreneurs in our soul. You know, we have our things that we're interested in. You're the financial guru and I'm the fitness and food guru. And you know, why not make it your own business? And why not take risks? Because I don't know about you, but I get bored.
Yeah.
I get real bored.
Oh, and I get super bored.
I like to be creatively charged, and I get an idea and I like to develop it.
Yeah. Well, and if you guys we're going to talk about this, but you go to her website, I mean, everything is just beautiful. Her Instagram is beautiful. Like,
gosh, it's not that beautiful.
Oh, no,
but that's also
it's
by
gorgeous.
design. Thank you.
Your websites, and I always tell you this, but Andrea is like a master at like image, her hair and makeup and website.
If you're listening to this, I'm in a ponytail in my gym clothes.
But she still looks good. So it is just
part of the package.
It's just kind of inspiring for me. And so and I will talk more of that up as we go. So, so why don't we start? So I know that you are a fitness trainer and everything. So just to kind of give people a tidbit, what are the different parts of your business that you have going on? And then I think we'll back up about like how you got started and that.
Well, you know, it's actually might be easier if I do just start from the beginning, and then I can talk about how those things like segmented. But I went to school for business. I was one of those people who wanted to do everything. I wanted to be everything and do everything. I wanted to be a lawyer and a botanist and a horticulturist and a landscape designer and a travel advisor and a newscaster. I wanted to do all these things, and somehow I just settled on business because it seemed like you could do anything.
All encompassing.
Yeah, all encompassing. So I have a degree in business, and then job opportunities just sort of started to fall into my lap. And I eventually got into advertising and business development for publishing companies. And while I was very blessed to have those opportunities, I just didn't love it. I didn't feel it in my soul. I felt very handcuffed to a schedule, and if I'm just being honest, I was super miserable. And it's really hard to sell things that you're not passionate about.
Yeah, you have to be excited about it.
Yeah, I wasn't excited about it. I was very young and I just didn't care. But it's also hard to leave when you're not sure what's next and you're being paid well and the opportunities are great and you're wining and dining people in Manhattan and DC. That's all really fun. My passion, I'd always loved fitness. I grew up, my mom was always really into working out. Every morning she was doing Jane Fonda tapes, and I was very inspired by that. My dad was always at Gold's Gym at 5, 6 in the morning. And
your mom was very into food too, right?
Very, very, very into food. Mm-hmm. And
I should say eating healthy.
Yes, very into eating healthy. Not yet. I wouldn't call her like a foodie. Just simple food. It's like steamed broccoli, chicken, rice, and counting calories was like a big thing. It was a very, very major undertone in our. It wasn't even an undertone. It was a big part of our home is what we were eating. And she didn't really push exercise on us so much. I naturally became interested in it. And then I had my own journey with like my own body. I was in my early 20s. And I think because, this is going to sound crazy, but because my mom was so calorically minded, I think I personally underate a lot of my life. Mm-hmm. And so when I was on my own, for the first time in my early 20s and eating not whatever I wanted, because I still thought I was eating healthfully, I gained weight. Mm-hmm. And I fell in love with this guy, and we would stay home and watch movies, and he didn't love healthy food, really. He hated vegetables. So we would order pizza and stay home and watch movies. And I gained like 20 pounds. And I was just miserable in my own skin. I was miserable. So I wound up hiring a trainer. I was probably 23 years old. And I had a complete transformation. I mean, again, I only had 20 pounds to lose, so it wasn't like the biggest loser or anything. Right. But for me, I went from, crying on the floor of my closet to like being in awe of what I saw in the mirror. And also to mentally how it felt to go from not being able to perform an exercise at all to being to then, putting more weight on the stack on my leg press. And I remember not being able to do an exercise, and suddenly I could do an exercise, and I had like little tear balls coming out of the side of my face. I just was so like, what I love about fitness is it's like a metaphor for like you can do anything, right, if you work hard enough.
And you kind of went from like helpless to not knowing what you were going to do to the weightlifting and working out gave
and
you
it
a
just
path.
And this trainer taught me how to eat, and I was like, and then I would say, and then I got in this business world, and then at some point in there, The Biggest Loser became popular. And I was like, God, I kind of want to do that. And so I just thought, I hate what I'm doing right now. I'm going to make what I love my plan B, and we'll see what happens. And so I went through, I actually asked from my family, like the, to have the coursework for Christmas and my birthday to get the certification to become a personal trainer, which is actually no joke. It's really intense. And then I got a mentor, and I started assisting him teaching boot camps. I also read the book called The 4-Hour Workweek around that time. I was a new trainer.
That's how we kind of bonded.
That's kind of how we bonded, The 4-Hour Workweek.
We definitely believe in that. Yes.
100%.
That's what we're always striving for.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not because we want to work less. It's because we want to do what we love. And
I want to have control of my time.
I want to have control over my time.
And I want to do what I love and be passionate about it, but have control of my time.
That's it. And so then I was already working as a trainer, and I was fully self-employed from the year 2008. And then I noticed that there was a family that I would train their whole family. I noticed that they were struggling with food and what to eat, because if you're training someone 2 or 3 times a week, 2 to 3 hours a week is nothing. There's a lot of time to fail in between. And so one day I just offered to meal prep for them, to cook for them. And then suddenly cooking became this huge part of my business, huge. And it could have grown and become huge, but it became exhausting.
Yeah.
And then I fell in love with creating my own protein shakes. And so I wrote 2 recipe books on all natural protein shake recipes. And then, the world has just changed and evolved since I started in 2008. So then I started nutrition coaching, and I had some cool opportunities to speak and to be on TV. And then I opened my own studio in January 2020. Yay me. And yeah, so we all know how well that worked out.
Right.
So our doors were open for 8 weeks, and then we were legally required to close. And then I became pregnant with my second child, and I had a real identity crisis. And I just started talking to people who I felt like had it more together than I did. Like, what are you doing? What are you focusing on? What wisdom do you have for me?
So why were you having an identity crisis? Was it because you wanted to have more control of your time? Like you wanted more flexibility because you had kids at home? Or you just were missing the passion and you'd been doing the same thing for so long that you needed to add a little bit more to it?
I think I felt like, investing all of my time and all of my money into a physical space, and then having that dream kind of taken from me at that time, and then getting pregnant with my second. Like when I had my first baby, I just still very much felt like me and I had a child. Mm-hmm. And then I could no longer work in the space that I'm used to, which is being face-to-face with clients, being in their physical space, cooking for them, being in their physical space, training them, teaching group classes weekly, which I love to do, is so fun for me. And then suddenly I couldn't see anyone in person. And now I have another baby on the way. And I felt like that second baby firmly put me in the category of being a mom, not just Andrea who has a baby. I felt like I was a mom. Mm-hmm. And then my whole career changed. My whole professional path changed. And I also am someone who strives for growth. And I was like, what is next? And what am I going to do? And so I started speaking to these people who just really had their acts together from a business perspective and a financial perspective. But I want to reiterate that you are very good at, and I know that this part of your life that you were just like, I just need to figure this out. And so you were seeking out people that had the lifestyle that you wanted, and were seeking out different influencers and asking for meetings of their time. And so it was really a lot of that, of how you learned to grow your business online, right? Oh, that's exactly where this goes next. Is I spoke to a few people. I was in a business mastermind at the time, and they all said, Andrea, that the only thing you can do right now is focus on your personal brand. Really, really pour into your personal brand and just start putting one foot in front of another, and things will come. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to start to pour into my social media presence. Well, I'm not someone who, it's not innate for me to film myself, or I don't film everything.
You
it's
would
just
never,
weird for me.
but you would never know that by watching your videos.
Oh,
when I watch your videos, I'm like, wow, look at how good and natural she is.
I'm a good public speaker, and I'm good at training. I've been leading crowds and groups for years, so that's fine. I have no problem being on camera, but actually setting up the camera and doing it, that's like, pulling teeth.
And
for
then
me.
editing it and coming up with the ideas. And I mean, it's a whole thing.
It is a whole thing. So what happened was, there's a woman on Instagram who I really respected because she's a mom. At the time, she was a mom of 3. Her Instagram is very genuine and authentic. She's fit, educated, beautiful, loves motherhood. And so I loved all the messages that she represented, and she was just crushing it as an influencer. And I think I thought, well, I could do that. And I reached out to her. I mean, and she has many hundreds of thousands of followers. I reached out to her and said, I'm not a psychopath, but I greatly admire you for these reasons. And have you ever would you be willing to coach me? And I'm happy to pay you. And eventually I had to stalk her a little bit, but eventually she was like, well, I've never done anything like this before, but sure. And so she's like, what do you suggest? And I thought, well, this is what I would pay for your time. And so I made her an offer, and she said, sure. So I would say I met with her weekly for, I don't know, on and off for about 6 months or a year. And she literally taught me about the Instagram algorithm. She taught me what things to put in my videos for people to look for. She taught me a lot about consistency and showing up and
messaging. I remember you telling me about the messaging of always be giving something to somebody. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, I think I read that. And that's another thing too, is I'm a super avid reader, but even Gary Vaynerchuk, who, if you're not familiar, the listeners aren't familiar, is a social media, I mean, he's like the godfather.
Yeah. Especially podcasting.
Yeah. And so he has a book called Jab, Jab, Hook, Punch, or something like that. And it basically means, when it comes to your content and content creation and social media, it's give, 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 ask. Give, 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 ask. And so whenever you're performing an act of service, that just feels good. Right. I know that my God-given talent is to encourage and motivate and inspire. It's like in my soul to help people feel their fittest, their most energetic, their best, find sunshine in their life. And so if I can give that, give, then at some point I can say, by the way, I wrote this new book. By the way, I launched this new program. By the way, here's an ad from this brand that I actually support.
Right.
And then that feels good. But I am too, like anyone else, where I lose my momentum and I lose my mojo. I feel like I've recently, I got out of the habit of posting for a while. And it's so funny this morning, I was like, all right, game back on, let's go. Cause it's in the spirit of giving. So I am lucky now to work as an influencer. I'm lucky now to, I've had some really incredible, like brand opportunities I would have never even dreamed of.
And they're contacting you, or do you contact them?
So in the beginning, I was contacting them.
Okay.
And if there's someone I really want to work with, then I'll reach out to them too. And that has certainly worked. And I think that's the beauty of having a sales background is I understand that any business person is in sales. I'm constantly in sales. So that's why even I still do physically train clients, but I will always show up to a training session with my makeup on and my hair looking sharp, and I'm going to be dressed nicely, even if it is just gym clothes. And I know how to sell. So I'll just reach out to a brand and say, I just absolutely love what you do. And that's the only reason I would do that. Would you be interested in working together? And I've had a lot of yeses from that. And now I'm connected to several influencer agencies, and then people will reach out to me and ask if they're interested. And then there's a kind of a standard canned application process if you're interested. But usually they share the compensation. You either agree or you don't, or a lot of times you just submit what you would like to be paid for it. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't.
And so these companies would you call it an influencer company? Is that, or?
Yeah. It's like social media management now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you reached out to them and said, can I be one of your clients kind of thing? Is that how it works? Or how does it work? Are you hiring them and then they bring you opportunities? I certainly don't hire them. I'm to be honest with you, I'm not even sure how I got connected with them. It must have been that maybe I reached out to a brand, or maybe a brand reached out to me and said, go ahead and apply through these channels. And then maybe I got... And then that's how you figured out.
Yeah, and then it's almost like a talent agency.
Right.
So
okay.
I'm with 5 of them, and then you get almost like a daily digest of
opportunities available. Oh, I had no idea. Yeah. Okay. And so then you can kind of pick and choose the ones that you want to apply for.
Yep. And you can say, no, thank you.
Okay.
Or people will reach out to you and say, oh, I have this, not everyone works with a social media management company. Some people do go it on their own. And yeah, I've just had some of the most really phenomenal opportunities and really cool brands to work with.
So when you actually, so let's go through the process of I'm interested in this.
Sure.
And so as you say yes, you apply for it, and then they might say, yeah, they'll say yes. And then they kind of give you what the breakdown is, or we'll send you a product and then you have to post so many videos or.
So it's called a campaign brief. So there's been a meeting behind the scenes between the agency and the client. And so the client will say, we really want to focus on, these 3 features, and these are the rules. This is what we want you to talk about. And no other product can be in this shot. We want, let's say it's a recipe. We want this recipe to come from our website. And it's pretty clear directions. A lot of times you do have a fair bit of creative freedom. Sometimes they just want to see what you come up with.
Okay.
And
then will they have to approve of the video that you're going to post before you can post it?
Sometimes they'll say, we want, the price that you always agree on the price first. The price that we've agreed on might include 3 revisions. And I've had it I was working with a supplement brand, and they were going to do a discount code. And then so I submitted my content, and then they said, oh, actually we decided to change the discount code. And so can you please re-record it? I actually paid an editor to change my words.
Okay.
It's I'm not going to re-record this.
I didn't know you could do that either.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean just do it over the video?
It's just a little dub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
I'm going to send you me saying 20%, and can you pop that in over that?
I didn't even know that they could do that.
I didn't know either. I just thought, wouldn't it be cool if they could? Yeah. And they could.
And how did you find this editor to do it? You just found a video editor? Online?
I found a video editor. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew someone who did video editing.
And they could just do it.
Yeah, and they could just do it.
All right.
And it was no big deal.
Well, that's cool.
Then I learned a lot from podcasting.
Yeah. And so now that you're back up and you've taken a break and you're feeling good about things, how often are you trying to post? Like, do you have a goal of how often you're trying to post?
Yeah, for me, so I know a lot of content creators who post daily. That is not for me, man.
Okay.
I am, again, not innate. When I record, it's a thing, right? I'm like, I've got it planned. My hair, my makeup's done. Dad's got the kids.
This is why I don't do a lot of videos. The hair and makeup has to be,
So I worked with a business coach. So I'm a coach. And so I'm a big believer in coaching. So I've had a lot of coaches, and I was going through this with a business coach of mine. And I said, I really am like no good at just setting up the camera and going, but it's because too, like, I know my hair looks bad. She was like, okay, here's the deal. So we agreed on this. Whenever you get your hair done, you just set up the camera and you film a bunch of content.
Right.
Period. So,
which is how I am about these podcasts. If I wash my hair, I'm like, let's get a couple podcasts
like, look, makeup's on, lashes are done. We're going to do the thing. So, what has worked best for me is if I make the commitment. It sounds so silly, but hey, real business talk here.
Yeah.
As a woman, as a content creator, where your image is important. When my hair is done, then that week I'll film all my content for the month.
Okay.
Like a big content push.
All right.
And then what's funny is that once you start producing that content, it gives you more confidence. And so I'm
sure the ideas start to flow a little bit more.
And then the
too,
ideas start to flow once you start working.
And
then it starts feeling better because people will say, like, you know, you paid me a nice compliment once where I posted like an arm workout, and you're like, hey, thank you for that arm workout. You know, I went through it and it was great. And then that is how I got started working out, was doing that arm workout like 3 times a week. I'm glad.
With the weights in my house.
So that's like very inspiring to me to want to do more, and, you know, to keep sharing the message. Is it's interesting, is the more you do, the better it feels.
Right.
But so for me, the perfect mix for me is like 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Of posting.
That's attainable for me.
Right.
It's manageable for me.
And they're not all videos, right? I mean, sometimes it's videos, and sometimes is it like a book you're reading, or?
They're all videos.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay.
They're
all videos about working out or making
there
some
might
food.
There might be a carousel of photos if it's like a family thing. But look, at the end of the day, reels are what works. Reels are what pulls the views and the engagement. It's just what works.
Okay.
And they're honestly not that hard to make.
Really?
Some of them are time consuming, but it's really not that hard to make.
So do you edit them? I guess that's the question too. So, I mean, is it normally like they're good and you just really have to edit the beginning and the end of them?
For myself or for a brand?
No, for yourself. Well, all of it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you definitely have to edit it for sure for anybody. Because they need editing. I mean, there's a lot you don't see that doesn't look good, that you just have to tweak and pull out. Or like if I'm doing an exercise, you know, you want the form to be solid. You want it to be readable. And then anyone where I'm speaking, I normally have to redo that a few times. A voiceover, I certainly will have to redo several times.
Okay.
Yeah, I've started just like writing my script. Like I'll record a video, and sometimes I can wing it. I'm better at winging it if I'm talking to the camera, if it's just me. But if I'm doing a voiceover, because you want your voice to be the same length of time as the video.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So
I would never have thought about that.
So instead of winging it, I write out what I want to say, and then I voice over it, and then I decide, is it too long or too short? And so then I either fill in the gaps or I edit it down. Okay. Usually I have to come up with more to say.
Okay.
So,
wow.
Yeah, that's it. It can be darn time consuming. My next level will be hiring out a social media person to do all of that for me. Yeah. And I already have her picked out. I'm ready to go with her.
Okay. And so how many different parts of your business do you, so we've talked kind of about the influencer thing. And so let's talk about all the different parts of your business, because you have a lot going on.
Yeah.
And, I think it's awesome because it all goes together.
It does all go together. Well, really for me, like my areas of expertise, are fitness, food. And now that I'm a parent and I read on that a lot, I like to talk about family, and parenting and relationships.
Well, and I think I find your view refreshing because you come at it from a point of view as a mom. I find it, I don't want to say annoying, but it just really irritates me when people are online and they're like, just get up and meditate and do this and do that. And I'm like, yeah, you're not a parent, or like some guy, or some guy will say that. I'm like, I just got 4 hours of sleep. I don't know that I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. and like really be killing it today. So I appreciate that you document the ups and downs of everything and how your daughter's not sleeping and I can't, I'm going to take it slow this week, all of that kind of stuff. So I respect your opinion a lot more because of that, because you're fitting the parenting thing in.
Well, it's real life. And, I had, I love coaching. And I remembered speaking with I met this guy at a party and he's just like he's a, I won't, name companies or anything, but he's a major guru. He was a major founder and his energy was just phenomenal. We met and we connected and we were like, oh, I have to work with you somehow. And he was trying to launch into being a business coach. And so I'm like, well, I love coaching. Let's talk more. And, how old Annecy must have been like a year old or something. And he was saying to me that I needed to chunk my day into 15-minute segments. And I was like, you're insane. You cannot chunk your time into 15-minute segments when you have a child,
right?
Because it's not even about like scheduling a diaper change. It's just scheduling it's like sometimes you need a snuggle longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think
your kids need you. And I think, it's important to be there for your kids and not make, your work the most important thing.
And I think for me, the most important thing as an entrepreneur, you said earlier, is it's your time. And when you do have children, I'm just going to say for me personally, I could never be the mom who drops her kids off. I'm sorry if I get haters. I just couldn't do it. I could not drop my kids off at daycare at 7 a.m. and pick them up at 5. Right. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. I feel like it'd be a waste of a parent. Like, why have kids?
For me, I agree.
Yeah, for me, why have kids?
For me, I agree.
I know that's not like if you're a doctor or something, and you're getting fulfillment from your job. I get that.
But I do think that there's a period of time when especially babies and toddlers need their moms. Mm-hmm. They just need their moms.
Yeah, and they need to snuggle and they need to be connected and feel safe. They need to
snuggle and have eye
safe
contact.
And secure. Yeah,
that's it. I did a podcast episode with an airline pilot who's talking about phobias and fears, and he's like that first. Oh my gosh, maybe he said I don't remember if it was 18 months of life or 3 years of life. A baby really relies on a mother specifically. This is from a psychologist. Gazing into their baby's eyes. And that helps them form bonds of security and safety and the ability to manage their emotions, know that they're going to be okay. And a daycare is not going to do that for my baby.
Right.
They're just not. So anyway, for me, my big thing is how can I fulfill my own soul and my own needs, give to the world what I know I have and need to give, and really be present for my children.
That's exactly my goal too. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I started my business. I mean, I was 26 and I was like, I know I want a family. I know I want kids, but I need to do this now and work my booty off so that I can do that later.
Yeah.
And it worked.
I just couldn't work for anyone. Mm-hmm. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
What's funny though, is that like, I felt like I could be in the military or something because I like discipline and I like, there's something about extremeness too that I like.
Yeah, I could see that too.
I feel like I could do that for a while, but obviously not with kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And now the kids come first. Okay. So let's talk. Okay. So you train people.
Oh yeah.
You do the influencer. And then I want to talk about the text program that you have going on. I love the idea of this.
Yeah, I have. Well, yes, I still see clients. Mm-hmm. I still am a personal trainer.
And do you train them in person or also on video?
I do both.
Okay.
Yeah, I have.
And you write up different programs for them to do on their own. Okay.
If they need me to. So I see clients in person. Actually, my garage is a gym. So people come to my home. I do a lot on Zoom. And then I do actually a fair bit of nutrition consulting. Mm-hmm. And I love to do that. That's so fun for me. I've even done the craziest things of like creating recipes for like commercial recipes for brands. Mm-hmm.
And does that, so when you're doing nutrition consulting, is that kind of an ongoing thing where, does it go on for years? Or is it one of those things where people start to get some legs under them and they're like, I'm doing okay after a couple of years?
So what usually happens is when it comes to nutrition coaching is, I would say most often someone would work with me for maybe 4 to 6 months. They start to get the hang of it. They start to see results. They start to figure out what works for them. And then I hate to say it, then normally they go off on their own, set them free.
And then they don't do it.
And then they come back. Then they fly right on back. And then we work together again.
Don't you think that there's a thing about community though? I mean, they kind of need the coaching. I mean, it's kind of, I think when you're having a coach and something like that, it brings you back to actually focusing on it. It's like going to see a therapist. Or any life coach or something like that.
Exactly what it is.
You are dedicating that time and that money, and so therefore you will be committed.
1,000%.
Yeah, so that's like half of it.
It is. It's therapy in so many ways. And like I've seen my own therapist many times over the years and will always probably have one in my back pocket. I also have coaches of my own that I see for business or finance or whatever. And so I think if there's an area in life that doesn't come naturally to you, like even though I am an entrepreneur, I always want a business coach rooting for me and guiding me in some way and helping me be my best. And I think that's why I have a business, is because people always too are going to want to be feeling their best when it comes to fitness and nutrition. And it's not innate for them. It's not natural. Like if I have a finance problem, I'm calling Michelle because that's not natural for me. I wasn't raised with those values. And maybe if you have a fitness or food question, you might call me.
Right.
Because that doesn't come innate for you.
Right.
We know we need to do it.
Yeah. We're like the opposite in those regards. Yeah. Yeah, we are.
We know we need to do it.
Yeah.
And you have the tools. We've read the books.
I think it's just more about what comes naturally.
It is.
Because like I love a budget and all that. And you were like, oh, I don't know about this.
I'm like, let's go over my budget.
Yeah. Like
line by line.
This is terrible.
And where does this go?
Yeah.
Like I know it in theory, but sometimes it feels overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's true for fitness and nutrition.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have that with coaching. I've done quite a few digital programs over the years. There's 2 that I have right now. One is called The Daily Motivator, and that is a morning text message telling people exactly what to do for the day. There's small homework assignments. Like, here's what I want you to do for the day in terms of food. Here's what I want you to do for the day in terms of fitness. Write me back if you have any questions. So it's like having a personal trainer in your back pocket. And then I just launched.
Which I love this program, by the way. I mean, if you think that you cannot afford a personal trainer or someone, I think that is just, I think it's important when you're selling things online to have those different, and we learn this
price points.
Yeah, have all the different price points so that you can.
Well, really, at the end of the day,
people.
it's like, how can I serve more people and how can I help more people? And honestly, that is something that I wished I would have had. And when I go back to my early 20s, I think, and I had gained those 20 pounds with my boyfriend, and my trainer, I was so lucky because he would tell me what to do on my off days. He would actually call me and say, alrighty, Andrea, I want you to drive to the high school and you're going to run stadium steps for 15 minutes. Wow. And when you're done, I want you to do 25 push-ups, 25 squats, and, something like that. And I did what he told me to do. And that's what really moved the needle on my body, I think, were those off days. And so this program to me is what I wished had existed. Just give me some damn homework. Tell me what to do. Today, I want you to not eat sugar. No sugar. Today, I want you to have salad for breakfast. Today, I want you to run a mile. See what you can do.
Okay.
And that's it. So it's simple stuff. You can incorporate it into your own workout.
It mixes it up.
Yeah, it's a little challenge.
Yeah.
It's a little challenge.
It's not just I'm going to turn on my phone and do a 15-minute HIIT workout or something like that every day.
Yeah, it's getting outside your comfort zone a little bit too, which I think is also important. And then I just launched a new program called the Freshman 15 Survival Guide.
Which I love.
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of younger clients, student athletes. And, we've all heard of the Freshman 15 when you go to college for the first time and you start to gain weight because you're away from home, you're staying up late, you're eating more packaged
food. Yeah, but it's the exact same thing as you happen. It's just that you get that freedom. You weren't in charge of all your meals before you left, and now you're in charge of your whole life. And so it's kind of like
your whole life.
Yeah.
And not only that, but there are always those really annoying girls who can eat anything they want.
Mm-hmm. And
Tacos,
be like a stick.
Wings, beer.
And we all want to be like them.
Myself included. We all want to be like them.
Want to eat
and
like
you're
they do.
I am looking at this pizza with sausage on it and I've gained 15 pounds just smelling it. It's so unfair.
Yeah.
So this is like what to do if you were that person. So it really sets up the framework for life of how to eat, work out, and commit to yourself, because the committing to yourself, I think, is the most important piece.
Right. And it's really good too, because it's at the right price point. It's a download, it's a PDF. And I think with online marketing, that's what's important to be thinking about, right? Is who is your audience and how can you package that program?
How can you package that program? And that is part of being an entrepreneur, is consistently learning more from others. And I love to read. And, Michelle and I met in a program called B School. Marie Forleo's B School. And
It's all about online marketing.
It's all about online marketing, and it's all too about reading. And yes, like I am in personally a very, very saturated market. And while I am in a saturated market, there's only one Andrea. It's just me, and I'm not the fittest person on earth. I'm not in a bikini over and over, and I never will be. But I do think that I'm a testament to daily mindfulness and balance.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And consistent. Yeah. You have very good consistency.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we've talked about all the parts of your business, is the book sales in there anywhere?
Yeah,
or is
sales,
that just, okay.
Yeah, book sales are in there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so are you always touting your book also, or just sometimes?
I need to be better at that. I'm not great at that. Unfortunately, one of my weak areas is that I like to create a program and be like, okay, I did it.
Right.
I am not world's greatest marketer, but I'm getting much, much, much better at it.
Right. At touting yourself.
At touting myself. And I think with the book, I wrote, my first book was called Moan Out Loud Protein Shakes, and it's called Moan Out Loud Protein Shakes because no book or no recipe made it in unless I moaned when I took a sip.
Right.
And then I wrote that at a time.
Wait, and isn't that one where there's no protein powders in any of them?
Yeah.
Right. So these are all protein shakes that are made with
they're
Greek yogurt
free.
Or they're powder free. So they're made with more like avocado and things like that.
Yeah. Written a long time ago. So there weren't natural protein powders on the market. So I'm very pro organics, sustainably sourced foods. And I wrote that before, anything organic or sprouted existed. It was all just like huge tubs of disgusting bodybuilder whey, which gives most people intestinal issues, and I don't know. And so I had practiced making shakes with just whole foods, cottage cheese, eggs, Greek yogurt, and everything was so freaking good.
Yeah, good.
And then protein powders really evolved. And so then I wrote a follow book called Moan Out Louder Protein Shakes. But really that one is the best one.
Okay.
And so what I want to do is merge the editions and make one Moan Out Loud.
One.
Yeah,
okay.
one big one. And I'll get to.
Yeah.
I'll get to.
Okay.
I'm working on some of these, other things now, but I'll get to that. And then, but that's a big part of what I do too, for sure.
Okay. So you've got the training portion, which is like the biggest portion of your business, of your time, I should say, of your business.
Of my time, for sure.
Okay. And then what is the second? The texting?
The influencer deals.
Oh, the influencer. Okay. And then the texting would be kind of the next time.
And the digital programs, texting the Freshman 15 Survival Guide.
Okay.
The texting program is called the Daily Motivator. And then consulting, nutrition coaching and consulting.
And so you're doing that, like you make an appointment online and okay.
Yeah.
And then you have a phone call with them for a half hour or whatever it is.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. And so are you working all the time and fitting all of this in just around momming?
Totally.
So are you working like weekends? I mean,
totally.
Because that's how I do it. I work
7 days a week.
Yeah, I work all the time.
7 days a week.
But I might not work all day, but I work, when I feel like it. And there's so many studies that talk about that is the way you get the most done is when you feel like it. I mean, I might sit down and start doing emails and then 3 hours later, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I just got so much shit done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because having kids for me made me more disciplined because before I had kids and I was single, I just did whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. So I didn't get as much done. I almost had too much freedom. And then I learned that, having kids, raising children in a way that our souls really want to requires a lot. And so in order to be able to perform, you have to train like an athlete. And so for me, like I'm an introvert, even though I sound like an extrovert, I'm outgoing, but I'm an introvert. So I like to wake up early and be alone. I wake up early, I read my book, I have my coffee, and then like a soldier, I put on my gym clothes, I go to my garage, I have a workout before my girls wake up, and then I spend a lot of time with them. Now, if my husband is home on his off days, he's a nurse, he's got the girls in the morning and I see clients. And so we just kind of work opposing schedules. And so there are times that maybe we have a sitter or girls are in preschool and I just work around that. I sometimes say like, wouldn't it be amazing to be a mom and not have any ambition? Wouldn't that be so amazing?
I think about that all the time because then I would just be sitting on the couch with my kid, just hanging out like they want me to all the time.
Wouldn't it be wonderful?
Yeah, but I don't think that's the way. I think we're idealistic in that, because I know a lot of stay-at-home moms and they are just as busy. It's just busy with activities and grocery shopping, or, you know, like different things.
And I think I am pretty good at sitting with them and reading with them.
Too,
but I do think what a dream, how amazing if like when the baby took a nap, I just
wanted to take a nap instead of getting stuff done. Yeah.
But I really want to do what I want to do. And I really feel called to do it. So there's a lot of nap time work. There's a lot of early morning work. And then, you know, I schedule in-person clients either really early in the morning or around nap time. And then maybe I'll stop at a coffee shop. You just learn to be real productive.
Right.
What are the things
because you only have a certain amount of time.
Move the needle?
I remember when I had my first son that he would go down for a nap, and then I would go take a shower, and then he would wake up and I'd be like, whoa, I got like none of the stuff that I you know, all I did was take a shower. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
I have rules. You know? I have nap time rules. My rules are no showering during a nap and no cleaning during a nap.
I totally agree.
Nap time is exclusively for either your own nap, something you really want to do, or work.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. No showering. You got to fit in the shower while the kid's awake and put the kid in their shower with you or 100%, something.
100%. That little baby seat's right in there with you. Yeah. No way.
Yeah.
No way. It's too valuable time.
Exactly. You can't be wasting the time. And that was one of the biggest shockers to me. I was like, whoa, I need to really like make use of my time if I want, because it's important for me to be really grounded and present when I'm with my kids.
Yeah.
And it's not that I can do it all the time, but I try really hard. And so I don't drink. I don't do anything that I used to do because I want to wake up and like be there for them.
You're a high performance athlete, really. Yeah. And parenting is just that. And I don't think it's so much with one. Way to put it. I don't think one, it's so much with one, but with two, it really is.
Yeah. With one, it's easier because you can hand it off and all that. But two is, And two, I agree. When you have two, it's definitely, and that's why, honestly, we didn't have a third, because I was like, that's when you lose your entire life. I was like, two is like, you can maintain your life, but three, it becomes all about their life all the time. I'm there's no way
my friend says 3 tips the ship.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's true when they're little, but now, like, for instance, with mine, now 2 is easier than 1 because they play together so nicely.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I think it's after the age of 1.5, but when they're little, when they're babies, and, you know, maybe 2 of them aren't sleeping well through the night, that's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
That's a whole different animal.
Yeah. When you're not getting sleep, it's a whole thing. Okay. So we're kind of getting sidetracked with the momming thing. So
but that's life.
Yeah, it is. So, and it is of fitting it all in. And that's what I wanted to talk about, is just like, you know, your lifestyle and how you built it up, because I think it's important for people to think about that they don't always have to just have this job, and that they can be thinking about new things, and that they can be creating new things.
Man, I think that's the most amazing thing, is to know that you don't have to be tethered to a job, especially one that you don't. It's different if you love it.
Yeah.
But the best thing I think I have ever done in my entire life was to resign from a company and say to myself mentally, I am never going to work for anyone else ever again. Ever.
I'm never going to an office again like that. Yeah.
Ever. Yeah. Ever. Unless I'm running it. And, no, it's just not in my soul. I can't do it. And I find it so frustrating. Like, I was recently talking with a company actually who had brought me on as an influencer, and they were, don't dig too deep and figure out who I'm talking about, but they were making big mistakes in their company. And so, they, you know, talked to me about maybe bringing me on. And I was like, no,
no, I got my own thing going on.
But if you want to bring me, and I'll tell you why, no, because I'm not going to work your stupid hours. I am so freaking efficient between 1 and 3 p.m., between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. Like, I have chunks of time on the weekend. I'm so efficient during these blocks of time, but I'm not going to show up at your place from
8 to 5 or 8 to 4 or whatever. Yeah.
And the world has changed. Yeah. And if you can't evolve with that, then we have a real problem. But if you want to bring me on as a consultant, I'd be glad to help you change your business.
Yeah.
I'd be glad to. But unfortunately, I think some companies are still a little bit short-sighted. So yes, if anyone is listening, please be encouraged to know that you can do anything and you can make great money at it. And that's another thing I want to talk about too, is making great money. And really, you just decide how much money you want to make and how many hours you want to work. And that's that simple math.
And I think it's important to realize, of having multiple streams of income, of how much that alleviates your stress.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was a financial advisor in 2008 and I also had my e-commerce store.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I was like, thank God I have this.
Yeah.
Like my income was cut by 60% because the market went down. I was like, if I didn't have this website, I don't know where I would be.
You'd be getting a job.
Yeah, I would have been getting a job. So it's just important to know that there's hope out there. And if you're willing to put in the work and just ask questions and text people or email people, just put it out there.
Yeah. Get a coach and just reach out to someone. And I have no problem doing this, but periodically, over the years, I'll have people reach out to me and say, "Hey, I'm interested in, becoming a trainer. How did you do it? Whatever." I'm glad to take that phone call. I'm glad to coach them through it because I had one person in particular who really took me under his wing, but there were others I reached out to for help and support. And maybe it was, I feel like now people are more genuine and authentic and willing to share. And we understand that that's, giving is receiving. And the more we help others, the more we can help others. But I had some people, close some doors to me and say, no, I'm not going to answer those questions for you. Like I figured it out on my own. You figure it out on your own. And I think that's shameful. Right. I think that we should all be here to lift someone up and support one another.
Right. Not everybody has to take the hard road. Like sometimes it's okay to give a hand.
And not only that, but as a new or at any time throughout my career as a trainer, I've always had substitute trainers on hand to work for me if I was traveling or on maternity leave. And then I've had other people say like, well, wow, you're going to Southeast Asia for 10 weeks and you have a sub in there. Aren't you afraid that sub is going to take your clients? And I said, not even remotely, because first of all, if that client really loved and connected to that trainer more than me, then I want them to have that.
Yeah, you want that. You want happiness for your clients.
I want happiness for my clients and I want success. So if they feel that.
This is called a growth mindset. This is what my son would say. This is a growth mindset.
That's precious. Mm-hmm. But you would just want people, you want what's best for people. And then I would come home and people would be happy to have me and see me and they still love that person and they're welcome back. But we continue to help each other and support one another.
Well, and you can look at it too, that they might not like that other person as much. And so then they become more grateful for you.
Yeah. And in fact, whenever I've not had a sub too, I come home and they're like, oh my God, I need you so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think sometimes the change is good. Like we think that the change and the, variances are bad, but they actually make people very grateful or realize
the variances are super important.
Okay. So what is your favorite thing about everything, your job?
Oh gosh. Well, I would say the connection with other people. Mm-hmm. And when I learn that anything I've said or done has been helpful or inspiring, that just like lifts me up. It just fires me up.
Okay. And what is your least favorite thing?
Probably filming social media content.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You guys have to go to her page. So your Instagram is just Andrea Barkley.
Yeah. It's at Andrea Barkley. Yeah. I like it when it's done. Yeah. When it's up there, I'm like, oh, yay, me. Good on me.
I cannot believe that. Go look at some of her videos. So her website is andreabarkley.com. Yeah. Instagram is at Andrea Barkley.
Yes.
You're very active. There's lots of content on there to, learn things. And your newsletter is great too, because you don't send it all the time. So you only send it when there's actually something to talk about, some offer or, so if you wanted to sign up for her newsletter, that would be great. So
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on and sharing how you operate your business. I really appreciate it.
It's fun for me.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, everybody. And please subscribe and scroll all the way down on the show and leave me a review or let me know if you have some topics you want to listen to.